Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. In this video, I'd like to discuss two things. One in regards to foreign aid to Israel, and the second one is about immigration. As you know, the people who are on the far right, people like Sky News, Rita Panahi, people like Andrew Bolt, Pauline Hanson, all these people on the right, they are the first ones to condemn immigration, that Australia is becoming too Arab or Indian or Chinese or Muslim. It's these immigrants who are trashing our country. It's the immigrants who are bringing a lot of crime to Australia, and this is impacting our daily lives. So they always focus on the negatives, and they campaign hard to reduce the number of immigrants coming to Australia, for example. But this is what I say. See, when a catastrophe happens, it exposes the true reality. It exposes the true reality. So, for example, when COVID happened, when the pandemic happened, and we had to stop the borders so to help minimize the spread of disease, spread of the virus. And so what happened was we stopped the borders, and immigrants stopped coming in, but what was the after effects? The after effects was people no longer could be at work. And so the government took a responsibility on themselves to say, we're going to use foreign donations and foreign aid, we're going to pay you out, and we're going to beat this virus. And during this time, of course, we still needed people at work. We still needed societies to function. It's probably not going to function at 100% efficiency, but we still need workers. So what happened was they couldn't find any workers during this time. And then the same people on the right, the same people who were saying stop the immigration, stop this, stop that, now they're bringing policies now in that they want immigrants, that they need foreign workers to come here to, help the economy. So on one aspect, they're saying, oh, you're bringing all your rubbish, you're bringing all the criminals here, and then when they don't come, it's, we've got problems with our economy, no one really wants to work, inflation is starting to go through the roof. Interest rates are 12 times higher now. People are paying double the amount for the value of a home. Their mortgage repayments are double. Even getting a house on lease, even rental prices are going through the roof. You could be looking at an average 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house, in the northern part of Melbourne, which is, probably an hour away from the city, an hour away. Can you believe it? The rental prices are going up to about $600 a week. Can you believe it? These prices, $600 a week for a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house in, say, in the far north suburbs of Melbourne. I'm talking about Donnybrook, Mernda, probably Mickleham, Craigieburn. In these far places, they're reaching approximately $600. People are working from paycheck to paycheck, right? Because why? We're trying to pay the COVID debt off. We're trying to pay that debt off. But you know what the reality is, folks? The reality is that these snakes, the people on the far right who are saying, the immigrants are coming here, they're taking our jobs, all this money is being wasted on these immigrants, right? The truth of the matter is, the money is actually wasted on Israel, right? The money that we should be getting in Australia, Israel is getting it. Do you know that America pays billions of dollars of foreign aid which goes directly to Israel? And these people on the right, Rita Panahi, Andrew Bolt, these people, Pauline Hanson, they don't want to talk about the money being wasted on Israel. When our citizens here are suffering, who are living from paycheck to paycheck, because we're here accepting funds to go to Israel, when we are the allies of America, we're supposed to be the allies of America, and we get zero funds. We get zero funds from America. That's what's not being talked on the Sky News, the Fox TV, Fox News TV. They will not, you know why they're not talking about it? Because they're Jews, they're Zionist Jews, they're subservient to the Jews, right? And then of course they're going to say, oh, you're just an anti-Semite. To shut your mouth, they'll say, oh, you're an anti-Semite. When the truth of the matter is, they love to point a finger at foreigners. Oh, the immigrants are taking our jobs. Oh, the Muslims are coming here. They're making our country backwards. When it is Israel stealing all the foreign aid, which is making your country backwards. We are suffering. I would love to dip into America's pot of gold and take some of that relief fund from them. Why aren't we getting a relief fund? Why are interest rates 12 times higher in this country? Why are people living from paycheck to paycheck? Why are there now petrol prices double the price and petrol theft is going through the roof? Do you know how much petrol theft is costing this country? $21 million in petrol theft. This is the so-called land of the free, Western morality, Western standards. This is the pinnacle of human rights and being, fair. Fair dinkum Australia. Fair dinkum Australia, now they're turning on each other. They're stealing from each other because we're denied foreign aid, because foreign aid is going to Israel. But you have the audacity to say, I stand with Israel. I stand with Israel. You stand with Israel, the money's coming out of your pocket. So you're happy that the money is coming out of your pocket? You may say, oh, well, Australia's not sending foreign donations. You are sending foreign donations to Israel as well. Don't forget, you're sending foreign donations to Israel. And foreign donations are going from America to Israel. It would be better in your pocket. But you prefer to live from paycheck to paycheck on the mentality, I stand with Israel. But wait, let's blame immigration. Let's blame all our issues on immigration. Not only are you not getting the foreign donations from America, which could help this country, in fact, if we had enough foreign donations coming from America, all our lives would be improved. The government would have enough money to give each home, what's the population in Australia? 30 million, 40 million, 25 million, I'm not sure. They've got enough money to give everyone $1 million. We could all own our own home. I'm not saying we should be a communist state where we all get $1 million each, but they have enough money to give us $1 million each where we can all have our paid off house. At minimum, if not $1 million, $500,000 each. Make our lives all easy. But no, the money is going to Israel. And you are sitting there going, oh, the immigration, they're coming here. The Muslims are coming here, or the Arabs are coming here, or the Indians or the Chinese are coming here. They're taking our jobs. You wouldn't have to complain about them taking your jobs if you are getting foreign donations from America to make all your lives easier. Not only are you not getting the foreign donations coming from America here, to help the COVID process, help alleviate the COVID debt. Not only are you not getting that, you're not working as well. You're now saying, before you're saying, let's close the borders, and now you're saying, let's open the borders because the Australians don't want to work. You go to the universities, you love to say, oh, look at these Indians, they're all Uber drivers, they all work in 7-Elevens. But you don't talk about when you visit the doctor. When you visit the doctor, who are the medical practitioners? Are they white people? Are they Indian or are they Chinese? 95% of them are either Indian or Chinese. So how do you even have the audacity to say, oh, they send their rubbish from overseas here? How do you have the audacity? My brother's son is at Melbourne University. My brother's son's at Melbourne. You know what he said to me? He couldn't believe it when he took his son to Melbourne University. He graduated and he's getting into Melbourne University this year. You know what he said to me? He went and visited Melbourne University, one of the most prestigious, one of the biggest universities in Melbourne, one of the highest in Melbourne. He said 95 to 97% of the students, he couldn't believe are either Chinese or Indian. So where are your children? Creating OnlyFans accounts, playing video games, still living in his mother's basement till 30, 35 years of age. And here you're complaining about, oh, immigrants coming here to take our jobs. Immigrants are coming in and taking our jobs and they're making our lives miserable. It's easy to blame the immigrant while you ignore the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is, number one, your own people don't want to work and get educated. Number two, you're accepting all the foreign donations to go to Israel instead of coming to Australia. But you're quick to point fingers at, oh, Chinese spies coming here and, buying our ports, buying our real estate, buying this, which is driving the market up. It's easy to point a finger at China, but you ignore and you put under the carpet the real truth. And the real truth is the foreign aid is being diverted from Australia and going to Israel because you want to support Israel. Because you want to make Israel the capital of the world. Because that's what you do. You want to worship your Zionist masters so they control the world from the Middle East, while we are suffering here, living from paycheck to paycheck, with all of these monies and expenses and our bills and our electricity and our gas going through the roof. And then we have all of this economical stress. Families are getting separated. People no longer want to get married anymore. People complaining that this generation will never even be able to own their own home again, the new generation. You're quick to complain about that, but, I stand with Israel. I stand with Israel. You rather stand with Israel because the privileged white people have owned a lot of the rich real estate in Australia. They own most of the media and they run most of, a lot of the big corporate world. And their children are living from their sugar parents. So that's why they don't want to work. That's why they don't want to go to university, right? They're living really comfortable. The white fellas living really, really comfortable. But all of that is being slowly now taken away from you. Slowly. A time will come where you will say, damn Israel. Damn Israel. We want that foreign aid here because and it's already starting. I'm very surprised that protests haven't hit the streets yet. In this economic crisis, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We'll see how much you can support Israel. We'll see how much more you can support Israel when people start protesting and saying, we come first. Australia comes first. Just like you're saying about the immigrants. When you're seeing the influx of immigrants coming here, you saw right-wing Nationalist Party rise up saying Australia comes first. Well, you'll be saying Australia comes first when you realise how all that foreign donations has been milked by Israel and all your people are suffering. It's going to get much worse here. And when it gets much worse, we'll see how much of you are actually willing to then support Israel. I'm not making this up. You can have a look. Since World War II, the US has provided more foreign aid to Israel than any other country. You know how much? $317.9 billion of Western funds has been funneled into Israel. Vietnam comes at second, 184 billion. Then Egypt, Afghanistan, South Africa, United Kingdom, India, Iraq, Turkey, and France. Australia, nowhere to be seen. Check this out. How much military aid does the US give Israel? Between 1951 to 2022, Israel received $225.2 billion in US military aid. Adjacent for inflation, which is approximately 71% of its aid from all sources. So how much does Australia get? How much? Have a look. Iraq, Jordan, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, South Sudan. How much does Australia get? Oh, zero. Zero funds. Zero funds from our ally, America. We get zero funds. The truth of the matter is, folks, our politicians are run by Zionists, Jews. Most of our politicians in Australia, either they have ties to Jews or Zionists. They're run by Zionists. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a true fact. You have a look. There is always someone that's tied to Israel. Even Joe Biden came out and said, you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. He outright said he's a Zionist. So it's not even a secret. And the Jews are extremely clever. Extremely clever. They knew exactly how to funnel money to Israel. All they had to do, and they're very smart and intelligent people, they actually started going to these universities to get into high office in political areas within the US Congress and in Australia and in the United Kingdom. And they're all controlling those funds to get funneled into Israel. It's that simple. You know, Australia loves to, talk about, foreign influence. If anyone within the Constitution, if anyone within the Parliament, if anyone working for the Parliament and, is taking foreign donations, and if there's foreign influence, like what they did with Sami Dastari, where he took Chinese donations and, to have Chinese foreign influence into the political party so they can get real estate and some benefits from Australia. They banned Sam Dastari, they kicked him out of Parliament, but they don't actually question about the foreign influence in Australia, the Zionist foreign influence in Australia, in America. They don't want to talk about that. Why? The truth of the matter is we have been infiltrated by Zionists, these Jews. We have been infiltrated by them. And you know what? They will probably try and take down this video. They'll flag this video. So copy this video and share it. So each time they flag and try and ban it, and they'll try and label it as hate speech, as anti-Semitism. Why? Because they want to shut you down. They want to shut you down so you don't talk about this. Because if enough people find out about this, if enough people are talking about this, then they're going to be exposed on these double standards and this hypocrisy. But they have tricked you, and they have taken the focus of Israel and they've pointed focuses in other areas, whether it's immigration, whether it's Muslims coming here, whether we've got too much Chinese or Indian. They want to distract you with all of these other things to say, oh, the problems are here, the crime is here, while the true crime is funneling the money They're like a big mafia organization. They'll trick you to focus on all these other issues that are totally irrelevant or insignificant, but they would, in order to take focus off the true thing that's killing this country. But yeah, they would rather keep you distracted with, halal meat. Oh, we need to take care of our animal welfare. Why aren't we stopping halal butcher, imports going to foreign nations, and we're not looking after animal welfare. They'll keep distracting you with all of these insignificant things while they're bending you over, excuse me for my language, with funneling all of this money into Israel while they destroy your nation and your people. And they destroy your lives and making your lives harder, where you now have to, instead of working Monday to Friday, you have to work a 12-hour shift. You have to work 7 days a week. You have to work now 2 jobs because you can't even have enough money to celebrate Christmas with your family. You don't even have enough annual leave. And if you do get annual leave, you have to work during annual leave. You've got all of this annual leave saved up and you can't even go on a holiday because you've got a 12-time higher interest rate that you have to pay. All of this stress coming onto your family. Divorce is going through the roof. Families are suffering. Divorce is actually real. People no longer want to get married. People are living from paycheck to paycheck. You have a problem with your population growth. And that's why they say Islam in 2050, it will overpass Christianity because the West will stop getting married, and they've stopped getting married. They're not producing enough for the population. And then you complain, why is Islam or these other cultures going to surpass Christianity and the numbers of Christianity? This is why you're destroying your family union. You're following feminism and atheism, single parenthood and single lifestyle, and all of this is being glorified because, life is being too expensive, and it's too expensive to have children. You rather have pets as animals as your children. You've substituted that for your children. And the reason why marriage life is too hard is because, yes, things are more expensive. But who made it more expensive? Is it immigration? No, it's not. It's the foreign donations being funneled into Israel. That's one of the most things that have impacted this country. We would love that foreign donation here. And now people are now predicting that America will eventually lose. In the end, Australia will lose. United Kingdom will lose. Their whole empire will eventually collapse. This is a prediction already made. It's going into, America is already in something like a $13 trillion debt, right? But they would rather they'll keep funneling all this money to Israel. And eventually Israel will be the capital because they literally worship Israel. But yeah, that's okay. Let them keep distracting you with Islam coming to Australia, Islamization. Let them keep distracting you with, foreigners are coming here to take our jobs. Let them keep distracting you with Chinese investors coming here and taking buying our real estate and buying our ports and, buying all our commercial businesses. Let them keep distracting you with all of this. And you keep yourself busy with, raising your flags for Israel. You keep busy with this. Let them keep busying you with, climate change affecting our society and our industries and so forth. Let them keep talking about these issues while they cover up the real issue, from your eyes about their fundings and support for Israel. Billions of dollars of foreign aid being poured to Israel and zero to Australia. Despicable and unacceptable. But let's face it, their whole agenda is a political and military fight against Islam and Muslims in the Middle East because they want to have their piece of the Middle East, to show their powers in the Middle East, to try and control the natural resources in that country, all while they get your sons and daughters to die in those wars. While the politicians, they don't send their own daughters and sons to go die in those wars. They send your sons and daughters to go fight their filthy wars for political control, for control of the region, while it's your sons and daughters who are going and fighting in Afghanistan, getting killed for no reason. A friend of mine who I went to school, his name was Cameron Bird. I went to school with him. And what happened? He got deployed to Afghanistan. He got killed in Afghanistan. A 20-year war. A 20-year war with the Taliban. And in the end, what happened? What benefit did America get? Did they establish secularism or liberalism in that country? No. They lost. Not only did they lose, they had to go back to America with their tails between their legs. Sharia was still implemented in that country. Taliban became stronger than it ever was before. It's now running the country. 20 years of failed policy and war in Afghanistan to try and reform Islam and to try and make that country liberal and secular. All that failed attempt. And on top of that, they left billions of dollars of weaponry, of military aid. They left it there. And Afghanistan is stronger than before. What a humiliation. And my friend died. How sad it is for him and his family that their son died in a war that they lost. He could have been here with his family. He could have had children. But apparently we were fighting an invader. We were fighting a foreign war. There was no hijackers from Afghanistan in those planes that hit September 11. None of them were from Afghanistan. But you choose to bomb Afghanistan, you choose to bomb Iraq, none of them from Iraq. They say, 12 or 11 of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. You didn't attack Saudi Arabia. Why? Because you've got oil trade deals with Saudi Arabia. For some reason, you didn't want to attack Saudi Arabia. But those politicians don't care about the sons and daughters of those Australian families. They don't care about them dying for the ADF and dying for Israel. They don't care so long as, it's about a power, it's about greed. This is all it's about. It's about nothing else. God chose Israel. Bullshit. Muslims, Jews, and Christians have been living in peace before the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, because the Zionists wanted their own state and complete control of that, backed by the British, backed by America, backed by Australia, because it's an expansion. It's a white policy expansion into the Middle East. When people tell you that invasions ended, colonial wars ended, colonial expansion ended, bullshit. The Israeli project is a colonialist project to try and steal more natural resources and gases and oil from the Middle East, to cross over to Jordan, to cross over to Egypt, to cross over to Saudi Arabia, to cross over to Iran and Iraq. That's why they've got 950 bases in that area. They want to try and find black gold. This is their whole emphasis of why they're trying to support Israel as much as they can at your cost, at your children and brothers and sisters dying their wars, dying their filthy, bloody wars. All because Israel has got a right to protect itself. It's the only democracy in the Middle East that we need to preserve. Trust me, they don't care about Jews. If the Middle East had no oil and no resources, the Australians and the Americans, they wouldn't send Israel funds. That's a hellhole. What benefit is there for us? What benefit is there for us? So they're using Israel and the Jews, and the Jews and the Israelis are using the Westerners because they're getting guaranteed their own state and protection. But at what cost? Look you're all suffering now in the West, and it's going to get much worse. It's going to get much worse. So keep going with your support of Israel.